Hey everyone, this is DJ.
And this is Ish.
And this is Season 5 of Pero Let Me Tell You.
All right, mi gente. So we are here with a gentleman who I think probably, I never thought I would say this, feels like an oxymoron. He is a Cuban-American country artist. He's a local Miami boy. If you haven't heard his album, Boots and Beats, like get thee to Spotify and listen to it. It is really, really good. And I'm not a huge country fan, so that says a lot. We're here with Miami's own Sammy Arriaga. Hey, thank you for joining us, man.
Un placer. Gracias por invitarme. I'm really happy to be here, and it's cool to be able to talk to somebody from my part of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're in Nashville right now, right?
I am. Yeah, man. It's a little different around these neck of the woods. So.
Just a smidge. The fact that you said neck of the woods, I think that's that's indicative.
That's a Nashville saying in its own. Yeah.
So, I mean, how did this come about? Because I mean, like I said earlier, it's not the most obvious thought. It's like, grows up in Miami, Cuban-American, country artist. How did this even pop into your head?
Well, funny enough, growing up, my dad used to play the guitar. He used to play boleros on his gut string guitar that he got from his dad. And I always loved when he did that. I always was inspired to, I was like, I wish I could do that. Like, I want to be able to serenade my family and my friends and maybe write some songs. And one day my dad was at work and I grabbed the guitar that was just sitting in the corner, like catching dust. And I went on the good old YouTube University. And
so many graduates.
Yep, exactly. Even to this day. But I went on YouTube and put how to play this dang thing and figured it out. Yeah, man. And then I'm sure in Miami, country music is not very present.
Nope.
It's mostly like Spanish music, hip hop, EDM, very top 40. But growing up, I always knew that country music was the best genre to showcase lyrics and storytelling.
That is true.
With just you and a guitar, and even my dad made me aware of that too early on. He's like, I don't listen to much country, but you should maybe check it out. You might like it. And so as I started learning the genre and noticing that there was a huge gap in the market and a lack of representation of the Hispanic culture, my dad made me aware of that, and he's like, why don't you just move to Nashville and represent all the Latinos, and
that's awesome.
And he's like, you immediately stand out, from a business point of view. There's not a lot of competition because there's not a lot of people like you doing that, chasing that filling that void. And so I moved to Nashville with that sole purpose of wanting to represent my cultura, mi raíces, my culture. So moved to Nashville in 2011. Didn't know a lot of people. I kind of based my relationships off of who I knew on Facebook. believe it or not, at the time when Facebook was hot.
Listen, there are worse ways to do it. It could have been Craigslist, okay?
That's very true. Very, very true. Or Omegle. But moved to Nashville in 2011 and, networked my butt off. And for the past 11 years, I've just been doing the thing and playing shows, touring, releasing music. And, here we are today with an album.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because a couple seasons ago, we actually interviewed Jackie Velasquez, who you might be aware of. And she's also in Nashville. She records in Nashville. And, one of the questions we had for her, and I will pose it to you as well, is, you keep hearing that Nashville is very insular, right? Like, it's one of those towns where, I mean, you've been there 11 years, so it's different now, but they're very close-knit. They know who they know, and that's about it. And, how did that feel when you first got there? And then I guess, adding the additional layer of, I mean, I don't want to go down this route too much, but just historically, country music hasn't exactly been embracing of minorities. It's counted on one hand, I mean, for every
even the terminology minorities is just such an ugly word. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that that's even in the vocabulary of like what this town is, It blows my mind. I mean, it's a never ending fight of equality. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, but I guess, did you find that to be the case? And obviously you're making inroads, but again, I would tell you, like, the last country quote unquote artist Latino that I would think of was Linda Ronstadt, and she she was Linda Ronstadt. I mean, but that's my ignorance. I'm not too familiar with country music, so maybe different.
Yeah, that's interesting that you bring that up, because every time I have interviews like this one and they mention about Latin country artists, everybody's got a different artist. Some people say Raul Malo from the Mavericks. Some people say Freddie Fender from the Texas Tornadoes in Texas, which was more Tex-Mex. And then every once in a while, I'll get what's this guy? Emilio. Emilio's another one. Not Emilio Estefan, but those are.
We're in Miami. There's only one Emilio in Miami. You gotta
exactly. That's why I had to bring it up. You say Emilio in Miami, and you know exactly what we're talking about. But in Texas, there was an Emilio, and he was very, very famous in the country world as well. Rick Trevino. I don't know if you ever heard of Rick Trevino, but he was a very famous Latin country artist as well. Johnny Rodriguez, another Texas country artist. So, I mean, there's been a bunch, but none of them have really broken that barrier of
airplay.
This is airplay and household names, if that makes any sense. Like, whenever you think of country music, you think of Jason Aldean, you think of Brad Paisley, you think of very heavy American personalities. But most people don't think an African American. They don't think a Latino. They don't think an alternate culture.
Right.
And so that was my goal. My goal was to be the black sheep, or the black bean in a bowl of white rice. El frijol negro en un plato de arroz blanco. So
okay, that needs to be your next album cover, by the way.
That's it. That's me. Yeah. No, actually, I might just do it. I'll get my abuela to make me a dish and take a high-res picture of it. But yeah, man, there's been a bunch of representation in the past. They just haven't had their time to shine. And some have broken past others more than others, but still there hasn't really been one that just takes over or like really makes a big boom in the industry. And currently we do have a few people that are doing it. There's a duo called Kat and Alex. They're very close friends of mine. They're signed to Sony Music and they're crushing it. They're also doing really well on TikTok. And they're Cuban from Miami. And yeah, one of them's Puerto Rican and one of them's Cuban. So a little bit of both. They're fighting for the flag all the time.
At least it's the same color pattern.
Exactly. They got lazy. They just hit invert and they, But that's the ongoing joke, right? But yeah, man. I mean, it's happening. It's just not. It's just not in the front. You know what I'm saying?
It's probably just not as proportionate as the population would suggest, right? Just
exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, you brought up TikTok, and I do want to mention that because I know you were, I believe, on the 11th season of American Idol.
Long time ago.
I was gonna say I've forgotten. Was that back when it was still on Fox? Right? That was
still on Fox. And it was the season of Lauren Elena and Scotty McCreery.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. That was big season. But you mentioned TikTok. And I feel like more and more, artists nowadays, they'll show up on Idol, on The Voice, on, all these programs, but they really get a hold on social media. And especially TikTok, I think of lately has just been insane. I mean, I don't have your numbers, but I know I looked at them and it was like, wow, I would love like a fraction of your of your numbers. But then I can't sing or play the guitar, so that might explain why. Why do you think that is? Why do you think TikTok has just become this almost haven for musicians to blow up in a way?
I mean, very simplified. TikTok is just the creator that you're watching. They're giving you the version of themselves before the makeup, before the production, before the money and the marketing. It's literally you're getting a deep dive into somebody's life. Like a daily life. Some of these videos of people putting their phone up on their dash inside their car and filming themselves saying, "I wrote this song after my worst breakup. Here's what happened." Like, some of those stories are true. I mean, a lot of them are, orchestrated still, but they're still orchestrated by the creator, so they're still authentic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It comes from them.
So it comes from them, and that's why TikTok is really blowing up, is because creators are finally being able to give the consumer the unpolished material, and it also allows the consumer to feel like they're just like them.
Right.
Like they'll see like they're wearing like a certain hoodie, or they're wearing like
nice.
There you go. Like wearing an ugly ball cap or something, but like they look like they just left like the laundromat. Right. But they like that. They like that rawness, that unpolished. It's authentic, and so I feel like that's why the platform has taken off so much, because there's none of that production, and it's still happening. It's happening on Reels. It's happening on Pinterest. It's happening on Twitter. Yeah, Pinterest has their own TikTok now. Yeah.
Oh shit.
So yeah, and so they also have a short and long-term video form now. It's called Idea Pins, and you pretty much just upload your vertical video. It's 60 seconds long, and same thing as TikTok. Everybody's trying to get into it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that TikTok started, and then Instagram was like, "Oh, we've got Reels now," but Pinterest. Damn, I just think honestly, I just think of Pinterest as a place where ladies go to get ideas for their baby showers.
Everybody does, but they gotta break through at some point. You know what I mean? So, YouTube Shorts as well. YouTube does their short form video as well. But believe it or not, Reels has really been crushing it for me.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you might see like my followers say like 380K on TikTok, but just the other day I posted about a new song I put out, and it only got about 600 views. In comparison to the amount of followers I have, but then I'll have 60K on Instagram, and I'll post a video, and it'll get 20K, a third of my followers, which makes way more sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's way more engaged.
It's way more engaged, and and Reels is doing a good job of like giving every video its life, like its opportunity at life. And I just feel like the algorithm right now on TikTok's kind of tricky. It's not. I mean, every once in a while I'll get lucky, but for some reason Reels has been nicing me for sure.
And actually on that note though, when are we going to get some more you singing on a kayak, sir? Because I thoroughly enjoyed those. Like, not gonna lie.
Really? Oh, I'm so happy you did, man. Yeah. I did that because like it just I wanted to really embrace my upbringing. My love for the ocean, and just my love for that Caribbean kind of sound. I was in Miami for a long time. When I was this past holiday, I was there for 3 months. So I figured I'd create some sort of little series while I was there. To see if that would help the algorithm, because sometimes when you do something repetitively, it helps the algorithm to push your content. So it was more of a test, but unfortunately it didn't latch on to any of the algorithms on any platform. So that was just a little thing, a little short-lived project, but you never know.
I'm sure we all enjoyed it though. Algorithm be damned,
Yeah, for those who saw it, amazing. I love it. Very grateful.
I just kept checking because I was like, maybe he'll announce some type of like random secret show while he's here in Miami, and I can go see him live. But you did not, and so I'm I was expecting you to show up at like a Besaye, some random day, and just with the guitar. But no, you didn't.
Yeah,
you didn't.
I didn't because of COVID.
Como jode la corona. So, touching on your album. Boots. It's Boots and Beats, right? Because I know it's Boots X Beats if you're looking for it online, guys. It's an album, but I know you have been releasing singles and EPs here and there for a while now. And there are even some singles that I love that apparently did not make the album cut. It's just Banjos and Bongos. That was actually the first song I heard of yours, and
oh, nice.
I legit would just put it on repeat when I was at the gym. There was just
I love that
about it. And again, I'm not a country guy, but then I start listening to more of your music, and I realize, you're a country artist, but you're bringing some Miami funk and I mean, there's a reason it's called Boots and Beats, right?
Yeah.
What was the decision to do that, and how has that been met from a Nashville, audience? Like when you're performing live and you're like, okay, here's, obvious, and then you add a little backing track or what have you. How's that been met with reaction?
It's awesome, man. I think, this is almost like whenever anybody goes on vacation, they love that sudden break in culture. They love that, like, where am I? I don't know what they're saying, but I love it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that was the effect with my music. From a fan standpoint and just a listener standpoint, I always got a great reaction. I mean, I'm very, very blessed that the music has been very well received. People dancing all the time, smiling, feeling good. But from an industry standpoint, I'm sure this goes back to the inclusivity of it all. It was a little different because it's never been done before, and so if you put it in terms of like a product, and an investment situation, it's always going to be safer to invest in a product that's already done well.
Yeah. That's why we have, Star Wars Part 73 and things like that.
Exactly. So with my project, it was more of like let's try to figure this out and meet in the middle so that we're all happy.
Right.
And so that's why I called my first EP on Sony Meet in the Middle. And it's all about just like, let's both be happy. Let's both figure this out together rather than like, I'm going to try to break this barrier. Because that just sounds confrontational, It shouldn't be about confrontation. It should be, everybody should just, at heart want to be as one. And so that's kind of what I was trying to do with this music, is write it in from a perspective of like, hey, I love your genre. I love your roots. I love your lifestyle. I love everything you guys stand for. Now, this is my imagination of that with a little spice of where I come from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and it's been that way for the past 11 years, but just with different genres and different beats and different vibes, just to kind of keep excitement. You know what I mean? I always try to dip my toes in different genres, but still bring it back to Nashville somehow. You know what I'm saying? If it's not with like a banjo or a pedal steel or a drum kit or the lyrics, and even with living in Nashville for such a long time now, I've picked up an accent a little bit.
I was going to ask you, where does a Miami boy like you, okay, because you were born and raised in Miami, but I've listened to some of your songs, bro. You got a twang. Like, it's not even subtle. Like, it's like, hey, y'all, twang. Like,
exactly.
I'm like, ¿qué parte de Hialeah was that from? Like, no, come on.
It's not. It's not. I'm just going to tell you this. It's not from Hialeah. Definitely not from Hialeah. It's like, Hialeah was a chancletazo y cintazo y compórtate bien y enséñame los grados.
As it should be.
Yeah, exactly. So, but then when I moved to Nashville, it was a lot of, hey, y'all.
Yeah.
How goes it? Very Southern, a lot of Southern sayings. And then that goes for any culture. That, when you're immersed, in circles of people from around the world, you just subconsciously start picking up these, these ways of talking and, words and terminologies and stuff. So, yeah.
It's why Madonna became British for a couple of years.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, and again, listeners, Boots and Beats, if you're looking for a country album that has a little bit of funk to it, a lot of cursing, and sprinkled with references to marijuana, and potentially is a breakup album, have I got the album for you, ladies and gentlemen. And you mentioned your culture several times, and one of the things that I loved, and I actually, one time we DM'd you actually when we first discovered that you have a Spanglish version of your song Hoodie.
Yeah.
You also have a Spanish version of your song Obvio.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. It speaks to what you were saying earlier, right? Which is, I'm not here to break the system per se. I'm here to add to it. I'm here to show you how, okay, you guys should listen. It's been a business for how many years now? Clearly you know what you're doing, but here's something a little different. Here's a little spin. Here's a little something else. And, again, as a proud Miami born, Cuban-American, like when I see things like that from people like you, it makes me smile, like genuinely smile. And thank you for that, man.
Thank you. My pleasure, man. And I don't do it for myself. I do it for the culture and for mi gente. You know what I'm saying? Because This applies. What I'm doing is it applies on a lot of different levels in society, and so as a musician, I just feel like it's the least I can do to give back to the culture. So
yeah, and you've also started working on some stuff lately, which I will admit on this show we've made fun of a little bit. Things like Bitcoin and NFTs and the like, but
yeah.
I think you just released a single called Meta Girl, is it right? Like META, like Meta, the Facebook company.
That's right.
Yeah. So you've become pretty involved. I see a lot of posts about NFTs, right? And I'm not gonna lie. Here's my entire knowledge of what an NFT is. It's a picture that you have on your phone that you've got to pay with Bitcoin. Is that right? Wrong? I don't know, but that's what my understanding of an NFT is.
You're close. You're very, very close. To kind of like simplify that for you, I mean, the word NFT is already kind of very daunting because nobody understands what it means and what it abbreviates to. Right. But pretty much an NFT is, think of it as like a trading card, like a baseball trading card.
Okay.
It's a collectible. And whenever people buy these collectible trading cards, they're buying it for their scarcity. The fact that there's not a lot of them in the world and they're very rare. And so people are like, wait, I understand that from a physical standpoint,
right,
but from a tangible standpoint. But from a digital standpoint, I could just screenshot it. But here's the difference. So whenever you buy anything with a cryptocurrency, it gets stored on what is called a blockchain.
Okay.
I'm going to go slowly so you can kind of like...
Because you see my eyes glazing over, that's why.
Yeah,
okay, yes, okay.
AK, the blockchain, I like to tell people that the blockchain is like a glass bank.
Okay.
So imagine all your transactions that you do, buying, selling, and trading, are going through a glass bank. Mm-hmm. And everybody on the blockchain can see all your movements. And vice versa. You can see everybody else's purchases. You can see it's a glass bank. All the transactions are publicly stored on this blockchain.
Okay.
So pretend the bank is called Blockchain Bank.
Okay. All right. We're off to a good start. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So like, imagine Blockchain Bank being fully transparent. So if your tia and your tío and your hermana and your hermano all have activity going through the blockchain, you can see exactly when, where, and what they purchased.
Okay, so I can see how many times they went to Target. And
exactly.
Gotcha.
You can see if somebody is buying liquor bottles on the daily, like if somebody's an alcoholic, like you can see it.
That sounds like I may have to have an intervention, but yes.
Exactly. So, in other words, going back to the NFT that's stored on the blockchain, the NFT itself, what makes it one of one and so scarce is that it's almost like a barcode. Like there's only one cereal box with a barcode that you scan it on the machine.
Okay.
So every NFT has its own barcode.
All right. I'm with you so far.
See what I'm saying? So it's a collection of letters and numbers stored on the blockchain. So you can't screenshot it because that specific image has its own series of letters and numbers.
So how do I, going with the analogy of it being a trading card, so then how can I display it, right? Because I think that's my biggest thing is, I guess on some level I kind of figured it was something like this, even if I didn't know the details, right? But then I just think of it, I compare it to like, if I buy a collectible trading card or a collectible piece of art or what have you, I want to put it up in a frame in my house but I feel like with this, it's stuck on my phone or my laptop. Is that correct? Like, how do I display it? How do I basically show people what I got, right?
Well, let me blow your mind a little bit here. So, how many hours a day do you think you spend daily looking at your phone in comparison to looking at the walls inside your house?
Okay, I don't want to play this game. This is it's too many. I don't like this question. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. You just answered your question. So why wouldn't you want to virtually showcase your digital asset rather than your physical asset?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
That makes. I mean, I have the answer. It's because I'm old and I like tangible physical trophies. But that's yes.
But that's okay because there's certain NFT collections where if you buy the NFT. it serves as your virtual receipt for that piece of art, and then the artist can send you the physical copy in the mail.
Okay, so it's not always only digital.
It's not always only digital. So, how, for example, Johnny Depp just released his own NFT collection of like 3,000 something pieces. When you buy that NFT, not only do you have the ability to showcase it digitally, if of course you're not in your house, so there's no way to prove it. So you could be like, look, I have it on my phone. Like, this is my virtual proof that I bought it. I have a copy of it on my wall in my house. So you have two proofs that you are the owner of that virtual and physical asset.
Okay, all right. I have to say, I was not expecting an entire like tutorial, but I'm glad that you finally gave it to me, because like I was telling you before we started, this is a question that I feel I've asked many people. Like, okay, but explain it to me, and I feel nobody knows. Right?
Yeah.
Most people just kind of like, no, because it's you got to buy the crypto and then you get the Bitcoin.
Nah,
and I'm like, no, I understand words. Like, I'm in marketing. I understand how that works. But I need you to tell me, how does this function? Like, what the behind the scenes, pull back the curtain.
Here's another one that'll facilitate it for you too. Another function of what an NFT can do for you. Okay, so have you ever bought a plane ticket on Southwest, for example?
Yes, because I am a glutton for punishment.
Well, there you go. When you buy a ticket online, it goes, thank you, your flight is confirmed. You will receive an email with your ticket confirmation, and you're able to save your boarding pass to your wallet on your phone.
Okay.
So imagine your boarding pass is the NFT that you got from Southwest. What does that virtual boarding pass do for you? It allows you into the flight.
Right.
So that's what an NFT can also do for the consumer. If you buy an NFT, for example, like mine that I'm putting out in a few weeks, you will get granted access to an exclusive experience that I'm shortly going to be putting out to the world. So I'm going to have a website where only people with an NFT will be able to access.
Oh wow! Because I know you started a new Instagram handle with that.
So I have two handles.
For that's basically about NFT or revolves around that NFT content. So
it's mainly my gallery. It's mainly where I like kind of show off via Instagram what I'm buying. Now, is that enough proof that I own it? No, because those are screenshots of which I uploaded to Instagram. But there is proof via the blockchain, which is a whole nother conversation.
Right. Yeah. So bottom line is, guys, Sammy's got the receipts for the NFTs. That's
exactly
the bottom line here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. So what else is on the horizon? I mean, we got music, we got you're in the NFT world. Like, what's coming up? I mean, we're really at the start of 2022, and I gotta say, I am gonna be up in the North Carolina area in probably around April if I'm lucky. So I hope you're performing somewhere in that vicinity so that I can go check you out live. But if not, what else can we look forward to?
Unfortunately, I do not have a tour in place. As much as I would love to have been playing in North Carolina,
dude,
I'm excited for you because North Carolina.
Nashville. I'll drive to some
that is
tonk.
2 hours times 3. Yeah, almost. But yeah, man. North Carolina is a beautiful place. I've done several writing trips there. It's definitely a place where I find inspiration. So I'm stoked for you. I'm stoked for you that you're gonna go there. Up next, man, is honestly my Web3 journey. Web3 being the new evolution of the internet with all this NFT talk, all this crypto talk. Little by little, society is picking it up and understanding it more. I know it's a very complicated topic, but there's a lot of talk and hype about it already. So I wouldn't be surprised if some very big changes happen within the next 6 months. But I'm heavily working right now on my first NFT collection. It's gonna have
of music or
it's an NFT collection that'll have my new single "Meta Girl" embedded into it. So I'm almost treating it like an all-access pass, where anybody that purchases my NFT will be able to enter my unlockable experience, pretty much. I'm going to be recording exclusive interviews, such as this one. I'm going to be releasing exclusive music videos, versions of the songs, images of like behind the scenes of when the song was being made, and all kinds of cool stuff that'll allow you to take my experience to the next level, you know? And honestly, NFTs have really changed the creator's life, because, you know, when it comes to art, we all know how a lot of artists, you know, for a long time have been getting, you know, like the ownership stripped away from them, for years. Some of your favorite artists, some of your favorite producers, some of your favorite illustrators, you know, they get promised all these beautiful things on the front end, and, you know, things look really nice and shiny, and then their life is over, you know.
And especially when they're starting out, you know, when you're starting out, you're just like, okay, fine, I'll sign with this big company because they'll be my platform, my starting, my launching, and then
it'll give me, you know, it'll give me like it'll make me look cooler to anybody else that hears about my project and stuff. But, you know, I'm kind of a victim of that myself. I've been through the ringer of the music industry, and I've learned a lot of lessons along the years. And so I truly think NFT is going to put ownership back into the creators' hands, of creators of all kinds, you know, not just singers, just, you know, I'm talking about artists, illustrators, designers of all kinds. Now, is it easy to understand? No, but the one thing we do know is that it's allowing the artists to make the money that they deserve for the art that they created. But we'll see. It's all a new thing that we're being introduced to, and with time we'll all figure it out, you know.
Yeah, but you're definitely, I mean, you're embracing it in a way that I have not seen a lot of artists embrace. And I say that in the sense that I think a lot of artists embrace it por arribita, you know, which is to say, like, oh, here's my new, you know, NFT, and I love Bitcoin, but they're not like, you know, like you. I feel like you're out to not just be in it, but to educate about it, and I think that there's a difference and it comes across.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, and this goes for any field. You know, whenever you see a friend or a peer that is, you know, they get struck with that chord of curiosity of like, I want to learn about this. You know, the second that you become the person to introduce them to this field, they all of a sudden see you in a different light, because, you know, you're a leader to them. You're a helper. You know, you're an innovator. So I just want to help. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if it's like a few tutorials of like how to do this, how to do that. It'll take the value of everything I'm doing, music-wise, artistically, in life, to a whole nother level. So
yeah, well, Sammy, thank you so much for joining us. Like, I know you're a busy guy. Again, listeners, Sammy Arriaga, Boots and Beats. I listen to it on Spotify. I'm sure it's available everywhere. And, you know, follow him on Instagram, follow him on TikTok. Based on this conversation, I feel like if you have questions about Bitcoin, DM him. I don't know. I'm just
your best bet nowadays is find me on Twitter. Twitter, believe it or not, it's making a huge comeback. Twitter is like the big hub. It's the hub for Web3 and NFTs and crypto. You'd be surprised. Crypto's changed.
I know, yo. I mean, Twitter's such a cesspool of humanity. Like,
you know, I hear you, but I'm telling you, Twitter has gone through a lot of renovation. So I would just take a look at it after this interview and send me a message and tell me what you think. It's pretty cool. I like it.
All right. Only because you are saying and recommending it, and you finally got me to understand freaking cryptocurrency. So
there you go.
So I'm gonna take your word for it. All right.
There you go. I love it.
But oh yeah, man. Like, again, I've been listening to music now for a bit. Again, I'm not a big country music fan, but there's just something about you, your voice, your songs that just caught me, you know what I mean? And just has me caterwauling in my car like a cat in heat, because I have no rhythm in my voice. And I just want to thank you for that, even though I'm sure everybody else wishes I would stop. But yeah.
That means the world, man. And at the end of the day, like, I make music for everybody to to cope through whatever they're coping with. You know what I mean? Happiness, sadness, you know, joy, the weekend, the beach, I don't know, whatever. my goal is to offer melodic medicine through my craft. And I hope that the gift God gave me, I can give it back to the people. So.
Yeah, man. Well, I can say you have been giving it back. So thank you again, Papo. And I mean, hopefully I get to see you perform live someday. That's a goal.
That'd be sick. That'd be sick. I'd love that, man. I'd love that.
All right, cuídate.
Thank you, man. Dale, bro. Have a good day. Cuídate. Ciao.
Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lomlaplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.